We are very excited to have this meeting all focused on alopecia areata, particularly focus on the treatment of alopecia areata, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting.
I am going to be discussing the treatment of alopecia areata in the pre-JAK inhibitor era. I agree. We all know that JAK inhibitors are all the rage right now, but they are expensive. They can be difficult to obtain, and they're not first-line therapy. So there are several other things that we can consider that we've been using for years, and right now may be a good time to consider some of those things. Instead, I'll be discussing corticosteroids, topical immunotherapy, immunosuppressants, and our adjuvant therapies.
Our initial approach for the genetics was something called a genome-wide association study, or a GWAS, where we basically look across the entire genome of patients with alopecia areata and compare their genes to unaffected individuals. And we look for places where patients have enrichment of genetic markers in certain genes, and anything that's enriched rises above this red line. So this red line and below is the noise, and anything above the red line are the real signals, the real genes. The HLA we knew from the previous work of Madeline Dubik and Vera Price and many others in the field, and Andrew Messenger's group, but this one was the one that caught our attention. It's the second most significant hit in alopecia areata. It's also the first unique hit in alopecia areata, meaning that, as all geneticists want, this is our smoking gun.
When we got interested in the JAK inhibitors, and subsequent to the 2016 meeting in New York City, there were two wonderful studies that were started. One was a topical and an oral JAK inhibitor study from AHRS. And then there was a topical study done, sponsored by Insight. None of those studies have gone forward, but we are in an era right now where Concert Pharmaceuticals, Eli Lilly, and Pfizer, who also has included adolescents in their studies, are participating. The patients are participating, and it looks promising.
I think one of the best examples of this gray area is in patients with alopecia areata that's moderate to severe who were doing well on intralesional steroid injections. And here's one example of one of my patients and another second example. And I will say, of 30 alopecia areata patients that I had originally scheduled in my clinic to receive intralesional steroid injections between mid-March and mid-April, these were the only two patients that I brought into our urgent clinic. And when I thought about this talk and sort of thinking through the reasons why them and maybe not others, I realized it sort of came down to weighing the risks versus benefits, as so many of us have been needing to do during this time.